And welcome back to another episode of the Nomad podcast. We have me, Danny Abbey, Liam Mulligan and Davey Noonan. This week we are going to chat about in our own opinion, best 11 players in the Premier League since the start of the Premier League. So it doesn't matter about, we're not doing a specific 4-4-2, like it's in our own opinion, and then at the end of it, we'll all agree on.
Yeah, we'll pull our opinions together and come up with 1 to 11.
1 to 11, and we'll pick the formation, and we'll pick a manager at the end of it as well.
Okay.
So we might as well...
I suppose it's good to hear that the Premier League is coming back, which is great. So
I'm buzzing.
Yeah,
17th of June, I think City are playing Southampton or something.
I'd be happy if the tune got taken over before it started, just so... Because
it's set in stone.
Imagine if... imagine if they haven't confirmed it yet, have they? It's not 100%. Nothing's been said.
No, it's definitely
it's
coming
100%
true.
When was that?
Last night. Well,
2 days ago, max. I'd say it was definitely 100%. The Premier League is starting back. 17th.
Oh man, I'm mad about Newcastle getting taken over.
I
couldn't give a bollocks about the Premiership starting again.
I don't know.
I was going to say,
we couldn't give a bollocks to Newcastle being taken over.
I actually hope that happens. Like, I was talking to a few people and they were like, it's bad for football.
how is it bad?
I don't know how it's bad. I love it.
It'd be good to be another team that'll be put in the mix of that could potentially win the league rather than it just being always the usual fucking few.
But like even on a bigger scale, why the hell would anybody object to billions of pounds coming back into the UK economy, into football, into infrastructure, into the youth set? All
Have
that.
you seen the photo of the richest clubs and then if they are taken over?
Yeah, I know.
So you have like City, I think it's like 10 billion or whatever.
Yeah.
230 billion.
Get up there.
It's
Get up
good.
there.
I think it's class.
Imagine them arriving in Newcastle and see we're taking over this place.
Nah, I hope it happens. Honestly,
Oh, man.
Brilliant. It would be.
You're not the only one.
Newcastle, you haven't won anything in. When was the last time you won something? 40 years or something?
It's been long.
Have you ever seen them win it? No.
Nah. Look, I had the championship twice, but
all right.
Nah, I haven't.
So it's going to be. I hope it happens. It just makes everything better. It puts everyone on their toes, gets them up there. Like, you have a big fan base. It's not as if you're
we have a huge fan base, mate. Like, people don't realise, if you go to, say you go to Liverpool, you got Everton and Liverpool, and obviously London's got X amount of clubs. Manchester's got 2 big clubs. Like, we just dominate North East England.
It's bigger than Sunderland.
Oh, mate,
bigger, yeah.
Not even close.
Not even close. I'm not just saying that because obviously I'm a Newcastle fan and I obviously don't like Sunderland. But mate, we're massive. Even the cities are completely different. You know what I mean? We're on another level above. So
that would be good for the Premier League.
And people, like, I've heard of people driving hours, hours to just come and watch Newcastle play every weekend. And like up north,
Is that not just the away support? No.
Well, we've got an amazing away support. Obviously the best in the country, but like even our home support is amazing, and has been for a long time. But the frustrating thing is we've just went through tough times, and
would you let fucking Brucey stay?
Well, I was chatting with 2 of our friends, Raz and Chiz, about that the other night there, and both of them think that no, he needs to go. But mate, there's something.
Mbappe showing up and Steve Bruce is there.
There's something about I know he has managed at Sunderland, and a lot of people can't get over that. Like, for a lot of Newcastle supporters and that I know, that is a big thing. But part of me just I think he just deserves a little bit of. He deserves a shot, He came to us when no manager wanted to come near us. Like, nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody wanted anything to do with her.
Yeah.
He came to her. He
That's
knew.
because of Mike Ashley, though. He shafted Benitez.
He shafted everybody.
Yeah.
Benitez is class.
But Bruce knew the situation. He knew he wasn't going to be getting any money. He knew it was tough, but it was his boyhood club. And he came, and now I think we owe it to him to give him a little bit of time.
For the
and look,
budget
exactly
and
right.
there.
And I mean, look, I'm not going to lie.
Who would you like, though? I just say he's not. He does get the flick. Who was potentially popping around? Obviously, you have.
They're looking at
Poch.
Yeah. That seems to be the main.
What's
man.
he doing? Nothing.
Oh, he's not doing that.
But I don't know if he. I don't know if he's the answer. Like I don't know. I guess the honest answer is I don't know.
Trapattoni's free.
You know,
do a job.
But for me, I just think, why not give him a shot? Like, you know, I mean, some managers aren't great with money at their disposal. Some of them are better at wheeling and dealing, you know, and I think Steve Bruce maybe sits into that category, but who knows? Like, what we got to lose?
Are they Saudi or are they Saudi?
Saudi, yeah.
So if they come and they're like, okay, we've 230 billion, not million, billion. We can afford anybody. Will we keep them on for a year and waste money, or will we just straight from the get-go, let's get the best of the best of the best?
But some of the, like, so I was reading the other day, there's like, you can only, obviously the new rules where you can only spend
150 million or something.
You can, so from my understanding,
Fair rights
they'll allow you to go in debt of what, 100
I don't know. I think it's
don't know. Don't quote it, but
I haven't looked into it too much.
But obviously, you can't just go out there and start
spend
throwing billions.
No,
you know,
it's going to be a working 3-4 year work in progress.
But we've already been, some of the names have already been linked with, man. Oh man, it just gets me excited. Like Gareth Bale is the reckon is one of the ones, and mate, I just want to see the old Kevin Keegan times return, you know, the entertainers, the Bobby Robson years come back, because we've been deprived of it during Mike Ashley's time here.
Yeah.
And
well, let's hope it comes true.
mate, it like I think regardless of who you support, like, you know, if you lived through them years and seen the Newcastle teams back then play, there must surely be a little part of you that go, you know, I want to see Newcastle do well and get back up there in the top 4 or 5, you know, like the powerhouse that they are. They're a sleeping giant, you know, because we are a sleeping giant, like, you know. So I think that's what he sees. Maybe it's the opportunity that he sees with us, because, like I say, we dominate North East England. We just need someone to, with a bit of money, take over and just take away to the next step. And
that'll be
interesting
times.
Hopefully it'll be good, mate.
But right, we'll
kick
get
it
going.
off. Dan, you go first.
Right. So as I said, there'll be a few people probably giving out about who we picked and whatever. These players that I've picked, just me looking up over the years, players that I've just thought they were just the best in their positions.
For anybody that's listening from home and not watching, Dan's wrote it on crayon.
I have it written here. I drew pictures as well. So I've really put me a good couple of days into this. There's a few players now we'll go through at the end who didn't make it that people won't be happy about. But these 11 players that I'm looking at right now, for me, on the day, there's not a team that will beat them. Right. So in goal was a close one. Very close. It was between Schmeichel and Cech.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people are going to have the two of them on the day. They were the best. Just for me, Cech made it ahead of him. He's the most clean sheets in the Premier League, 202.
Yeah.
So I just, on his day, when he was that started a revolution of Chelsea, when he got going, he was just even at Arsenal, a poor Arsenal team, he was coming to his later days now, but he was still top of his game. Yeah. So for him alone, he makes it. So me defenders, I think everyone's going to have this defender. He's the best in the Premier League, John Terry. For me, he's just the ultimate leader. He's proven it through the years. His titles speak alone. You know how many goals he has? So I love players that obviously score goals. Yeah. How many goals do you reckon he has? For a defender in the Premier League, all-time history, how many goals do you reckon he has?
50.
25.
So there you go, big difference. 41. He's the most goals for a defender in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's...
Really?
Most goals in the Premier League.
Free kicks, for corner
headers,
kicks. Corner kicks,
big and pouring goals. Then we have...
Can't take a penalty.
Who else do you think scores goals? Defenders?
Haven't we had a few like fullbacks that have been on free kicks and like...
No one has scored. Yes. No one scored more goals than John Terry in the Premier League for a defender. Then we have... I know he's been injured a lot over the years, but on his day, and he scored a lot of crucial goals, especially coming to the end of his career, not even at the start, at the end of his career, Vincent Kompany. For me, I just think another class act, and he gets important goals, pops up when the teams needs him, so he's there. Then we have, this is another tough one that I didn't really know. I know he's a class act, and it wasn't just at one team. He proved it true. Ferdinand.
Yeah.
So For me, Ferdinand, look, I know people.
So you got 3 at the back, have you?
3 at the back. Sorry, I'm playing 3-4-3. All right, so 3-4-3. Ferdinand, his record speaks for himself again.
Look, Ferdinand and Terry, they're always going to be in conversation. Like I haven't got them in mind because I knew yous would put them, and I can't stand either of them.
Well, I can't stand Ferdinand.
But like I do,
football-wise, I respect him.
Yeah, I get that why he's in there.
Right, let's go to the midfield. So the midfield, it was tough. Well, actually, 3 of them, I just think they were going to be in everybody's. One of them was a bit, maybe not right. So I'll go in the middle. For me, being Irish, Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Dominated the midfield. I don't think there's a leader. I'll speak about Terry, company leaders. Keane, for me, was just in his own bracket. There's no one close to him. He's you can see
he was a knob though, wasn't he?
Look, he was an arrogant fucker, but he got the job done, and that's what you need in midfield.
He's a good.
Technically, football wise, he isn't
average.
the best. He's average, but his mentality and his fight to win and leadership alone dragged people over the edge. So for that alone, he won. Fuck man, he was in the middle of one of the. Well, I don't like to say it, but Man United dominated for years. And he was one of their most important players. So
he's a great punter, by the way, isn't he?
Yeah, he's class. He just speaks his mind.
He's just great. Honest as the day is long, and
he's
so on as a spade.
I think he plays on it a bit as well. He knows. But Keane, for me, man, he's just. He's
just a.
I'm going to say every player
leader.
has different grade. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a class act. Then we have Lampard.
Yeah.
Lampard, like, you can say what you want about him, but he's the all-time top midfield goal scorer. Like, do you think about the players that have played in the Premier League? He's miles ahead of. No one's even close to him for goals in midfield. And look,
well, he took penalties as well, though.
Doesn't matter. You have to score them.
Free kicks.
You have to score them.
Yeah,
you can take throw-ins. You need to score them. It doesn't fucking matter what he takes. You have to score them. So he's 177 goals for a midfielder. It's ridiculous. So, and he's won titles, and he's the main man at Chelsea for a few years. Him. Then we have
So he's the top goal scorer. How many's Ronaldo got?
I'm going to Ronaldo's in my team here now. So he was a player that. Look, I don't like Ronaldo. I respect him as a footballer. I just think he's a wanker. All right, that's nothing. Like, I respect him. I know him and Messi neck and neck, unbelievable footballer. I just don't like the fucker. But football was. He is the best player, I think, to play in the Premier League. That year, his last year when he scored, I think it was like 44 goals or something. Yeah. Some of the free kicks, some of the step overs. People were just like, who is this little... Like, when he started off, he was a little skinny rat doing step overs, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 years under Fergie, and he just... Look, his record speaks for himself when he went on to Madrid. It's not as if he had one good year. He went on...
He progressed then, and I think he became a better footballer when he left United.
That's what I mean. So imagine he did stay.
Progressed.
Or it just got easier in Spain.
Well, that's another debate. We'll do that next week. But Ronaldo, for me, that year, there was no one close to him. I remember Davey just said it to me before this, when you were watching it, his odds to score...
Yeah.
Well, as you said, like 11-8 or something, and everybody else was like 4-5-1. Ronaldo was like 11-8. He was just like, and he did score. That's the thing. Yeah. He did score. So you were putting 50 quid on to win $10 or something. It just didn't make sense. But he made it for me. So that's Lampard, Keane, Ronaldo. This one for me, he was growing up, especially being a Liverpool supporter. First name on the list, Gerrard. For what he done for Liverpool through the years, everyone's saying, "Oh, look, he did do well in the Champions League and FA Cups, but in the league alone, he was just a schoolboy coming through the ranks, and he's Liverpool's best player of all time. Stuff he's done alone for Liverpool speaks for itself. And for me, he was the first name on my list. And Nick's in with it. Sorry, Ronaldo as well has 84 goals.
Yeah, is that right?
Gerrard has 120.
Oh, okay.
So, but just for me, Gerrard, man.
And how many did Lampard have?
It's 177.
Jeez, that is a lot.
So, like, it's a big difference between him and
Lampard
Gerrard.
played how many years for Chelsea at the top level? So, like, he'd go like 10 years, 11 years, I think.
Who do you reckon's better out of Lampard and Gerrard? The famous England duo that went back.
See, like it annoys me because it doesn't annoy me, but if Gerrard had went to Chelsea that time, there wouldn't even be. See this Scholesy Lampard show. There wouldn't even been a question. Gerrard would have ran that Chelsea team 100%.
I always put Gerrard ahead of Lampard. In my
I do
opinion.
definitely. And not just because I'm a Liverpool supporter. Obviously, that's a big factor. But I just think if Gerrard had left Liverpool and went to Chelsea, there wouldn't have even been a question of Scholesy.
Gerrard was in some poor Liverpool teams.
When you think of the teams,
yeah.
He carried them.
Carried them.
He carried them for his whole career.
Just like Shearer carried Newcastle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know,
so it's just.
I
know people say, "Oh, Lampard won more, Scholesy won more." Yeah, they did, but performances alone, you just can't. Gerrard is just.
So that's all of your midfield there.
That's my midfielder. Gerrard, Lampard, Keane, Ronaldo. So Gerrard has 120 goals, Lampard 177, Keane 39, and Ronaldo 84. Right, so a lot of goals there. Then me 3 up front. Right, so 2 for me were easy, and there was one that.
So if you went on goals, you have to have me boy there.
Yeah, Shearer's there.
Shearer's there. Has to be.
For me, like you're picking the best of all time. He's the most goals. And he was in some very poor. If you had went to United,
he was in terrible.
If you had went to Man United, if Alan Shearer had went to Man United, I reckon he would have been hitting the 350 mark.
Easy. Yeah.
Like he has 260. So if, think about him. It's scary when you think about it. Like
260, and think about what he was getting.
Think about who you can.
What he was feeding off. You know.
Yeah.
To not have Shearer is.
Mental.
It's madness in my book, but I can't even see the people not picking him because he's the all time. When you think of all the players in the Premier League,
people kind of get fogged sometimes with success and like how many titles people have won and blah blah blah.
That's what I mean. That's
the only thing that he faulted him a bit because that wasn't his fault. Yeah. He was in poor teams because Newcastle didn't have the money to buy
exactly
like other clubs.
For every year to turn out 20 to 30 goals. Constantly, like it's
and the goals he scored, fuck me.
Like and some of the bangers that he scored as well. So to not have him in there,
and then you get likes of Ruud Gullit who comes along as manager and goes, "Yeah, well, we're going to drop Shearer." And imagine that everyone like all Newcastle's going.
Who did he drop?
All right, that's
Duke and someone or something was it? Was it?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Was it Duncan Ferguson? Was that Ferguson?
No.
I
can't remember.
I can't remember anyway, but I remember that. I heard that and I was just like, that was it. But anyway, right, so Shearer, 260 goals, Premier League's all-time top goal scorer. He was the second name on the list as for goal scorers. He just picks himself. Then we have Rooney. All right?
Yeah.
I've spoken to a few people, well, not few Man United supporters, few not. I don't get a few people thinking Rooney's overrated. I spoke to a few people think he's overrated. I'm like overrated?
Look, I don't think he's overrated, but I don't consider him to be a great of the game.
Right.
Like
I'm going to say a few facts here about him.
Okay.
So, how many goals do you reckon he has in the Premier League?
I got no idea.
Where do you think he sits on the list? Off the top of your head?
4th, 3rd.
Right.
Probably 5th.
Right. He's second with 208.
No. Is he?
I would have said about 170.
Yeah. Like 200. He's Man United's all-time top goal scorer. Like, that's... You think of Man United, of all the strikers they've had through the years in the Premier League, like, he's I hate him. Like, I honestly can't stand Rooney as well. Another player that I've hated over the years. But football was, on his day...
He's not an out-and-out goal scorer as well. He played centre mid in a few games for United and stuff.
So I have him sitting behind Shearer, and I'm not going to tell him the other player now, but like Rooney, man, he's...
look, I don't think anybody can say... You know, there's no way he should be.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's obviously not. He's not in mine.
Yeah,
but
on his day, Rooney just behind the two boys up front. We'll have Shearer, and I'm going to give you the other one now. But him there, and he tracks back, gets up and back. So he's not as if he's just sitting up top. The 3 boys, like Shearer will be staying a bit higher. Rooney will be floating around. Then, so my last player. Now it wasn't that hard. It's only hard when I start looking up or like just see what was floating around on the internet. Henry, right? For me, growing up, he was just a different grade.
Yeah,
I used to
it's a
love
pleasure to
watching
watch
him.
that fella play.
Like
He was
some of the goals
unbelievable.
he scored, and I remember I used to wear gloves sometimes just to be like the fucker. He was just.
How did that work out for you?
It's not that good, but I still actually pull my socks up like him. He wears a. So one thing I still do when I'm playing, I pull my socks up past my knees, and I used to just do it because of him. Little things like that, but just man, he was different gravy.
Yeah, it's different gravy.
Now the player that was him and Harmon with.
Well, there you go. You can have a subs bench then as well. Just say so you have your subs bench, your goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and the striker. So who's the striker that you'd have on the bench then?
Aguero,
yeah.
Like Aguero, man. You look, he's more goals than Henry. Yeah. And if you could, like, I don't know whether some people can say this. Oh, he's playing at a harder time. Was the Premier League harder than when Henry was playing? And he's still, I know, but then you can say Aguero's been in this world beater of a team, but like Arsenal wasn't too shabby either, so you can't just say that. So I just have Henry there. For me, growing up looking at him, I just didn't think there was on his day there was no, and he has the most golden balls. 4.
Does he? Okay.
No one's Shearer, not even Shearer. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Shearer, of all the goals he has, Henry when he was on his prime, 4 top 4 golden balls in the league. So yeah, that's mine. So I'll just go over it again. I have Cech, Ferdinand, Terry, Company. Midfield, Gerrard, Lampard, Keane, Ronaldo, and then up top, Rooney, Shearer and Henry. And then we throw Aguero on the bench. And the goals combined on this team is close to 900 goals. So
goal scorer.
There's like if we're letting goals in, it doesn't matter because
the galactic goals of the Premier League.
The boys will be all
right.
Right, Mully, you go.
Enough of yours. So I've picked my
in goal. Shay Given.
I don't even know. I don't even know how many goals has been scored here. I've purely picked mine on players that I like, and obviously I've been quite biased towards some teams. Like I cannot stand Man United along with Sunderland. They're the 2 teams I can't stand. And if you're a Man United player and you've made this team, then you have to be exceptional in my eyes. You've got to either you've got to have taken the game to another level or just done things that players you've got to be on another level. So I've got. I've got 3. No, I've got 4 Man United players in there, and that kills us to do that.
But they were just that good.
I just couldn't leave them out. Yeah. So the in goal, probably same debate as what you had, but I went with Peter Schmeichel. I just remember watching him when I was a young kid, thinking this goalkeeper, he's actually crazy. Like he's absolutely mental, But he was just he's scared centre halves. He's scared centre forwards. He was just vocal, aggressive, but just like a cat in goal. Brilliant.
I just remember him every time the camera was on him. He's shouting,
yeah.
Or he's scary looking. Like there was no he was always fuck. You could see the anger in his eyes that he just wants to fucking save this ball. It was mental.
And I remember just like every time you play Man U, one of the things you'd think is how are we going to get a ball past him?
Even when he came out, jumping on them, head first, no.
Crazy. Do you remember that save? I don't know who it was against, and he just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. He was just unreal.
He was quality. I've went with a 4-4-2, just because I'm old school and I love 4-4-2 formation. I grew up playing it. It was what was played when I was watching football growing up. So I've went with a 4-4-2. Left back. No.
Yeah, go right.
Right, yeah. I'll go centre halves first. So centre halves. This one is going to be. I don't even know if you will probably know him, but this one here is quite a controversial one. On his day, he is the in my opinion the best centre half that has played the Premiership.
It's not Ledley King.
No, it's not Ledley King. Right. It is Jonathan Woodgate. So Jonathan Woodgate, I'll tell you right now, on his day, and he had a lot of injuries. He was plagued by injuries. But on his day, I don't think anybody could disagree with the fact that how good he was. And I think part of that is Real Madrid picking him up from Newcastle and going, he was on another level.
Did he go from Spurs to Newcastle or Newcastle to Spurs? Did he play for Spurs, didn't he?
We signed him at Leeds. He was at Leeds.
Leeds.
Oh,
And then
Leeds.
he
Sorry,
went from
Leeds.
Leeds, Newcastle. Maybe
Yeah,
he was in
Leeds.
Maybe, yeah. So, anyways, he was just on another level. And I remember once when we played Arsenal and he was playing against Thierry Henry, and I think he had Titus Bramble alongside him in
That fucking shambles.
Thierry Henry just you didn't even know he was playing.
Yeah.
Woodgate had him in the back pocket the whole time. He was just like if he didn't have as many injuries as what he did have, he should have had it. He should be the great.
He had a disaster when he went to Real Madrid his first game.
Yeah.
He scored no goal.
Goal
Red
got
card.
sent off,
He but on his day was on another level.
Was he at Leeds with Ferdinand?
Yeah.
Yep.
Think how good that Leeds team
That was a
was.
good
that
team.
Was champion. They got to the semi-final of
The
Champions League. Yeah.
Think how good that team
that
was.
was
What another big club that's gone to the shocking. Like,
But that was all. It was all bankrolled on borrowed money, and then they ran out of money, and it all went to shit. Then, but yeah, that was a great team.
That was a quality team. Like, and they had who else? They have Lee Bowyer,
David Batty, Ian Hart,
who's Aussie fella that had in the wing there?
Harry Kewell.
Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka up front. Alan Smith up top.
Smith.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Smith was a good player, wasn't
Lucas Radaby,
who was the left back? The Irish lad wasn't Kelly. Was it?
Gary Kelly, and Ian Hart was left back.
Man,
Serious free
that's a
kick.
fucking serious team.
Alongside him, like again, look at centre halves. I knew yous would probably go Terry and Ferdinand. I can't stand either of them, so I wasn't going to put them in my team any day. I went with Tony Adams.
Yep.
Who is another captain, probably similar to Roy Keane in the sense that he was a warrior. Like he went on that pitch and probably wasn't the greatest footballer, but he probably was an average footballer, but an amazing defender, an amazing captain. And he was.
And the fact that what he went through, well, he was still producing brilliant performances and was
On the
battling alcoholism.
You know what age he became Arsenal's captain? No. What age do you reckon?
18, wasn't it?
21.
Oh, okay.
21.
I knew he was young.
21.
Yeah, I knew
he
he was
was
young. Yeah.
captain. That's a young captain.
age. Like. So that's the two centre halves. Tony Adams, Jonathan Woodgate. On the left wing, in my opinion, the greatest left winger of all time, Ashley Cole.
Yeah, if I had done 4-4-2, he was there.
Yeah, I thought when we were making these teams, I thought all three would have him in because I thought he was that. I just think he was on another level. I just think he was that good, and I think he'll go down as the greatest left back.
Do you know he started out as a striker at Arsenal underage? Yeah,
is that right?
And then he got to, I don't know what his youth coach told him to go play left back, and
And he was.
He was.
Arsenal, Chelsea, like he was on his day. He was different gravy.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, man.
And I think I remember reading somewhere that Ronaldo used to hate playing against him. You know?
He always had him in his pocket. I think when he always played against him.
Just 'cause he's so
Ronaldo,
quick.
he was just so tenacious.
Yeah.
You didn't get by him.
One of the things that he was really good at is like with a lot of defenders, they're often great defenders, but not technically great on the football. That's why they're defenders.
Yeah.
He was great on the ball, lightning quick. He could play and he was comfortable on it.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's where as he started out as a striker, so he was technically good footballer, but for some reason this guy got you'd make a good left back, and he switched them around and just
he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Right back. So the right back, I refuse to put Gary Neville in this site.
You can smell the hatred of United coming out of the league.
But not just that. I just think if you took him out of that United team and put him in another team, he's not standing out.
Yeah,
like he is not standing out, and I think the amount of times he played for England was partly because he was in such a successful Man United team. So I just refuse to put him in. The problem is there's not many other people around to look at. So
you don't have Stephen Carr, do you?
No, I didn't have Stephen Carr. He was a little nugget, but wasn't he? He was. I remember when he came to Newcastle, I was thinking, like, shit, this bloke's solid. Like he's like the Juggernaut from X-Men. Like he was like a little nugget. He was good. Look.
A rocket.
But eventually I went with Patrice Evra.
Who
was a good captain, good player, pretty consistent. Again, he played for Man U, and it was, it's tough to put him in there. But I'd prefer him over Gary Neville, even though I kind of stand either of them, to be honest.
You're not thinking of Trent Trent Alexander, no, is he not?
No, not yet. Next.
He was still a wet dream and Mully was watching the Premier League.
I know. Next, the 4 in the midfield. So 2 centre midfielders. The first one I've got is Patrick Vieira from Arsenal. Back then, them battles with Keane. Like, I used to always think Keane was the workhorse, very aggressive, but Everett was just quality on the ball. Like, Vieira was just quality on the ball. And he just had a lot of ability. And he's just great to watch, Like
when you think about Keane and Vieira, what do we have since them battles?
Nah.
Is there anything even comes close?
But I don't think you have
battles?
to. It's not the same style of football anymore.
No,
You don't have the hard man in the middle of the park anymore, do you?
It's not. It's good.
That's all technical footballers now.
The pace of the game's went to another level, hasn't it? So Vieira, alongside him, someone who I think is technically the greatest footballer that I've ever seen, and that's Paul Scholes. Again, I kind of sort of stand him because he plays for Man U, but I just think, like, as a footballer myself, like, and you lads too, you see him play some balls and knock the ball around the park, and just it was just effortless.
He's a wand of a rifle.
It was just effortless. And in that class of '92, when you see that, and they tell a story about was it Gary Neville? Like, they're doing have you heard that story?
They were doing a jog.
Well, doing a jog around the fields, and Gary Neville, like,
they were all pinging it or something.
Stops for a pee, and the group keeps, like, running round. And Scholes was like, sorry, Ronaldo had the ball or something, and Scholes went, pass the ball, I'm going to hit off Gary Neville, and I think Ronaldo's went, and this could be wrong, but it was something to the effect of,
you're on the right track.
Ronaldo was like, you're kidding me, that's like, he's like 200 yards away, you got no chance. And Scholes went, oh yeah, pass the ball. Got the ball and just pinged it straight off Neville's head. And Neville just said he, like, nearly knocked him out completely. Yeah. Like, he was dazed from it. Like, he is just on another level. And, like, when he retired that year, and then he came back the following year, and how good he was, just to step back into that side and just, he's quality. So I've got them 2 in the middle. On the right, I've put Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, I'm paying 4-4-2, so I had to have him on the right wing. There's no questions there. I think he was just,
last year of football was...
For me, like, he'll always be... Like, him and Messi is obviously always in the same talk, but Ronaldo will always just be just a little bit above him because he's came to the Premiership and shown his quality. Yeah. Messi hasn't done that, like, and I think I'd love to see what Messi would do in the Premiership. Yeah. I'm not saying he wouldn't be as quality as what he is, but for me, that's the difference. Like, when both of them are neck and neck like that.
He's done it in the Premiership. He's done it in Spain. He's done it in Italy now as well.
It's the
he's done
the
it on
small
the world
things.
stage.
Yeah,
he's won fucking championship with Portugal as well.
Yeah. Have you seen? I seen a stat there a while ago. All the footballers that have, like, brilliant footballers that have stopped playing at ages, and then you still have Ronaldo at the top of the game. So you have Iniesta, 32, Xavi, 33, Ronaldinho, 31, the other Ronaldo, 31 as well. And you're just thinking, going, like, that's when they started going downhill, and he's still fucking
what age is he?
35 now. And he's still regarded as the best / second with Messi, 2 of them. Like, that alone is just... It's brilliant.
Yeah. Quality.
Brilliant.
Left wing, I had a good thing about this one. In the end, I went with David Ginola.
I said that earlier on. I said I guarantee you he's either going to have David Ginola, Beardsley, or fucking Real Fox or something.
Well, no, I'll tell you who, I'll tell you who. So I went with Ginola because when I was growing up watching him, he was just quality. Like, he was just
good looking man.
He was a good looking man, but he was
poetry in motion to watch.
Yeah,
he just dribbling with the ball.
He just sort of moved the ball, like, effortlessly.
He wasn't
like,
even fast or anything.
No, he wasn't fast. Like, he just sort of gracefully moved the ball, and he was just quality. But there was other players there I was thinking about. Obviously, Beardsley was quality as well. I was trying to think of a way to put Gascoigne in there because I love Gascoigne. He's a boyhood hero of mine. And then the other one who was a frustrating as hell at times, but probably had the best left foot I've ever seen, Lauren Robert.
Yeah, he had a bullet of a left foot.
He had a left foot that I've never seen since in the Premiership. He could ping a ball, but at times he's not in there because he was just lazy as anything at times as well. But yeah, I eventually went with Ginola. Up top, no surprises that Alan Shearer is there. The greatest all-time Premiership goal scorer, boyhood hero of mine, Geordie like myself. I think everybody should have Shearer in there, Davey. So you better be in your team.
I think he watches the podcast. So give him a shout out if you want.
Good on you, Alan. Shearer. And then the other one is obviously Thierry Henry. For me, he when he came to Arsenal, like there's not many players across all sports that really just like changed the game. Like even just like little things like he pulled his socks up above his knees. And everyone's like, "What?" Yeah, footballers don't do this in this country. He was wearing gloves when it was warm. I was like, "What are you doing?" And then he brought in the offside thing where he would stand 2 yards offside, quickly run back on, then it sent the whole football world into like, such a a frenzy. People were like, "Well, why he can't do that? He can't." But he just changed the game on another level. And for me, one of the greatest goals I've seen is
against Tottenham or United.
So
he's another player that you can look. There's all great goal scorers. There's always goals you remember. Little flick.
If anybody hasn't seen this goal, I'm sure most of anybody that listens and particularly follows football, it will have seen this goal. But if you haven't seen it, go and search Thierry Henry's goal against Manchester United. And the ball comes into he's got his back to the goal. The ball comes into his left foot. He dinks the ball up with his left, turns and spins and hits it with his right. From how far out?
25.
About 25 yards out.
Box, but on an angle. It wasn't as if he was...
the angle was tough. And he gets it right in the top hand corner.
You just see Barthez do that.
And you don't stop them ones.
Not saving that.
He just for me, he just changed the game. Like he was one of those players that managers would have to think, okay, like, I mean, what do we do against this bloke?
Stopping him.
I mean, he changed the game to another level, and I thought that's why he should be in there.
Yeah, Henry, man, he's just when you think about him.
Yeah. So obviously on my bench would be Gascoigne, Beardsley. I'm also a big fan of Michael Carrick. I thought he was.
He was a good.
He was a great player that was
very
just
underrated.
Very underrated.
Very
He was a brilliant. Like for me, one of the things that stood out about him is like his retention. Like he would just never lose the ball. Like, he wouldn't bang one in from 50 yards out because he didn't need to. He sort of sat in front of the back four there. But he just played the ball. He never lost it. He was.
If you ask United fans who was the most underrated player, they'd say Carrick because as you just said there, like he never gave the ball away. It was just simple things he did. But he always performed every game. He was always, even if they got beaten, he would still get a 7 or an 8 out of 10 off United fans because he was just a Mr. Consistent. But as you said, he didn't score 40, 50 yard fucking bullets, whatever. So like he doesn't get the recognition.
He doesn't.
That he deserves.
So
I remember he did score a couple of bangers though, but not as many as Gerrard Lambert's goal did.
I was surprised today. I tell you, who I used to really like Liverpool.
McManaman?
Nah, John Onorisa. Who
he
broke Alan Smith's legs when he had a free kick.
He had a bullet of a left foot, didn't he? Like he could. If he was within 30 yards out,
he scored a free kick against
United.
The thing
just went straight top in.
There's nowhere else it could have went.
He was one of them blokes that could hit the ball that hard that. Like when you'd look behind the ball, there'd be no movement in the ball. There would be no sway.
Yeah,
it was just
straight.
It was just deadly straight.
As a die,
like he could hit the ball on that level. So that's my top 11. Might be some controversial ones in there. I hope
there was a few.
I don't think Woodgate is for me. I don't think he's top. But
did you see enough of him though? Did you see enough of Woodgate?
You
would have watched him week in week out. kind of watched him, obviously, if he's playing Liverpool or when he went to Madrid and he done fuck all at Madrid. So that's what I'm not based on.
He had a few. So how many years did he spend at Madrid?
I don't know, 2 or 3 max, I'd say. And he was
Yeah,
injured
it
for
was
most
2.
of it.
He was injured for most of it. And
He
that was the
didn't hit
story of his...
potential. That's it. But
Yeah.
you would have been seeing him week in, week out, and he probably was one of your best
He
players.
was really, really good at Leeds.
He was...
There you
Hence
go.
why he was taken to
Well, look,
fucking Real Madrid.
he was injured a lot in Newcastle. Look, and part of this is recently he's came out and said a few bad words about Newcastle because he's actually a Borough boy. He's from
yeah.
Middlesbrough.
He's a manager there now, isn't he?
He's a manager
Yeah,
there now.
Robbie Keane's
And I
assistant.
almost didn't put him in because I was pretty peed off about that. But in the end, I just thought I'd put him in there to be a bit more controversial.
After Davey, we'll go through a couple of honourable mentions that people...
Yeah, all right,
because
that's fair.
I had about at least 10 lads that I was like, I can see the argument, but for me, they just didn't make it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, that's
Davey,
fair.
a Celtic supporter.
Celtic supporter, but I grew up watching Premier League, obviously, like all of us.
Liverpool.
Who are they? Who does he support?
Who did you
Best
support in the league, Premier
When I
League?
was a kid, I was Liverpool.
Yep.
Because of, early 90s, there was a lot of Irish players playing for Liverpool. So I used to watch it, but my team has a lot of United players in it because I'll go through the reasons. But goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel, I think we've all touched on that. He was just different gravy, although Peter Cech was pretty close on his record. But yeah, I just went with Peter Schmeichel because growing up watching him play, he was a leader. Like, he was the sweeper at United. You didn't need a centre half to be a sweeper. You had your goalkeeper. He was unreal at commanding the ball, directing the like managers always say that, you start at the back, and he could see the whole game and he directed his team. And I think he was a major part of why United were so successful back in those days, the early years of the Premier League. So that's why he went in. Left back, as Mully pointed, like Ashley Cole, I don't think anyone can argue that he was probably the best left back that has ever played in the Premier League. It's just his tenacity.
Arguably of all time.
Yeah.
Arguably of all time. Yeah.
In the world, like...
I think so. Yeah, I think
he was just like watching him. His aggression, his passion to play, to want to win, and he was part of some great teams, the Arsenal team, Chelsea teams, and like he had to go in for me at left back.
Did Dennis Irwin not pop up in your head?
Not really, no. Dennis, he was a good player, but he's not on the same level as Ashley Cole. Like, great free kick, great left foot, but I think just Ashley, he was just a different level to anyone else that played.
Do you know how many times he won the Premier League?
Who, Ashley Cole?
Yeah. Many times did you reckon?
3.
3. Many did you say?
4.
3.
3.
2 with Chelsea.
So, yeah, was it?
2 with Arsenal, 1 with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Dennis Irwin won 8.
Yeah.
Did he really? 8.
But again, like, you're looking at that team, he was part, that United team was just so much better than everyone else at the time that when Ashley Cole kind of came through Arsenal, then into Chelsea, there was a lot more competition, I think, between teams. So for me, Dennis Irwin, great player, but I don't think he's kind of the same standard as Cole. Right back, I put in Gary Neville. I just think he was Mr. Consistent with United. People say, if you take him out, as you said, you take him out of that team, he wouldn't really stand out. But a lot of United fans say that he was an integral part of that successful team. And when you're thinking of other right backs to put in, I just think he's still better for me anyway. My 2 centre halves would be John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. I think we've touched on them already. Rio he was a good footballer with Leeds. United then stepped up to another level. So much success with them. John Terry is just an ultimate Mr. Chelsea captain for England as well. I think he's done it all, and I don't think he'll get a better centre half partnerships than those two. So we move on left midfield. Ryan Giggs hasn't been mentioned yet, but
See,
for me, like, you look at like how many games he's played, 700 odd fucking Premier League games. He's won how many titles? He's been in Premier League teams of the year how many times? Yeah, off the pitch he might be a bit of a wanker. But for me, I've grown up watching starting to watch football, him dribbling past defenders, he one of the most iconic goals you'd ever see, Arsenal goals. Just he made me want to play football and be left foot or left midfield. I started out playing. He was just, when he took on players, he was doing step overs like the old school footballers used to just get the ball, put it past a player and then whip it in. He was just doing step overs. He was taking lads on, and for me, like he was. Probably the best left midfielder that's ever played in Premier League.
He obviously is going to make a lot of people, but for me, I don't know what it was. He never done anything for me growing up. Not maybe, I don't know whether because I wasn't a Man United fan or what, but Ryan Giggs for me, I know he won all these awards. I know he was Mr. Consistent. I just never looked at him and just went, man, he's different, great. I don't know.
I think probably like a lot of Man U fans in the early days would have looked at him and went, this bloke's went to another level. I think.
Yeah, he did obviously, but I just, for me.
He obviously he's not in my team.
Did you ever look and go, he's like, if he was in England, I'd love it, or did you?
Nah.
See, I mean, he for me, but I know I get the reason why Man United players love him. Like fans, his record speaks for himself. But for me, he just never done it for me ever. I don't know what it is. Like it's just weird. Just as you said, he's played the most games. For me, I want me wingers to score goals and assist. I know I think he has the most assists of all time in the Premier League.
Yeah, probably. I'm not too sure.
No, he does. He definitely does. But he played a lot of games. But for his position, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. But I get he's going to be in. I'd say 80% of people.
I just love watching him play football. I just thought he brought the game to a new level back in the early 90s when with his style of football, it was something that hadn't been seen for a while. Like the likes of Best back in the day, like there wasn't the players like that. He just took it to another level, and then he just kept going like throughout his career up to whatever age he's
49, was it? Or
something like that. Like he's a stalwart. He's probably the greatest ever United player. Bobby Charlton, probably him and Bobby Charlton probably knuckling it out at this stage. But
he's the only player to score in every single Premier League season while he was playing 21.
Yeah. But his longevity in his career, like probably just ticked the last box.
Did you hear about his longevity of what he when he was getting to his late 20s? So I've been reading a while now. He picked up yoga. And he said yoga was the main thing that kept him on the ball going. He decided to go to this yoga
class. He got all
class.
the United lads on Rio Ferdinand and all them into yoga then.
And he swears by it.
So yoga. For recovery from injuries and all that, just keep your body mobile and stuff like that.
So any young players coming through, longevity, get into yoga. Yeah. Hot yoga as well, pretty good.
Okay, my centre midfield is... Sorry, Roy Keane, like you, Dan. I just thought as a natural leader, not the best footballer, but his passion, his determination, his leadership skills, he scored some very, very important goals. I think like that goal he scored against Juve when he knew that he was already banned from the Champions League final. Other players could have, when he got that second yellow card, he could have went, fuck, I'm not playing in the final now. I don't really not care, but you know, your mind could have went off the boil, but he stepped up to the plate, scored a goal, got them back in 2-2, and then they went on and won that game. He just, I suppose being Irish as well, but he just his leadership skills, his determination, and the fact that he didn't care what people thought about him. Even though, like at the end, he left the United in a kind of bad kind of way. He just spoke the truth, and he thought that lads in that team weren't up to scratch, and they should have been fucking told to move on, or you know, book up or fuck off kind of thing. And he got told off about it, and then kind of left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. But
he done that everywhere he went. Yeah. It wasn't as if
he's just an honest person.
Yeah,
and
that's what I love.
A lot of people don't like him.
A lot of people don't like him. Yeah.
But for me, that's just who he is, and he was a great player for United. And the other midfielder was Paul Scholes. Just as Mully said, like I just thought he was a magician. He saw passes that no one else would fucking pick. His left, right, his goals, his assists, his work rate. He was just a brilliant all-around player. And
he was sort of 3 yards ahead of everybody. When
Yeah.
he, like that's like you talk about good players knowing where the ball's going to be in 3 seconds time. Like he was just a three
Yeah.
yards ahead of everybody, wasn't he? He just done.
He's another player with his goal. Who was the volley against? Was it Villa?
Villa, yeah.
Like
On the corner kick.
there's 10 goals. I think you can. Everyone, if you enjoy football, you can say, yeah, remember that goal. You always remember it all. He's up there with. Remember that goal?
Yeah.
The volley, Scalzi. After fucking 2-3 years after that, everyone's like Scalzi volley.
He just
like,
hit it so sweet and it was fucking top bins. And I just any football coach I've ever played with, you always tell you, when before you receive a ball, you'd take a little look around to see what's in front of you before you receive that ball, so you know where to play it. He did that you could just see his head. You follow him around. You know when they brought in Player Cam and Sky Sports, and you used to you'd be able to watch the player. You just see him constantly just looking. He just looked everywhere to see where everyone was in the pitch. So he knew exactly if he got the ball, he goes, right, I'm going to fucking put it straight over the top for Van Nistelrooy, or I'm going to play it in behind for Beckham. He was just different gravy for me. And you had Lampard, you had Gerrard and Lampard as well. Like, they're hard to keep them out, but if you're asking for the argument between Scholes and Lampard, or Scholes and Gerrard, it was always going to be Scholes for me, because he was part of that such a successful United team, and I think he was probably the most integral part of that team because his creativity and his goal scoring.
I think he was underrated when he was playing as well.
Yeah.
I think people only appreciate him or how good he was after he retired.
Yeah.
Like one of them players.
Even for the English team, like, he'd never really.
He never. It was always the talk of Gerrard or Lampard during his time, but it was. I think, yeah. I mean, like players, footballers, probably like yourselves. Like, I mean, I always saw how good he was. The value he would bring, or even Carrick when Carrick was playing. But for the average Joe who hasn't really played football and can't really appreciate like how difficult some of them balls or passes were. Yeah. He probably wasn't a star man, but I think
a reason he didn't really do as well for England as he did with United was he was part of that United team that were so well gelled together, and when you put him into the England team, he's playing with different players, and maybe he didn't have the same connection with those players that maybe, and people like, as you said, like it was always Gerrard Lampard. Scholes was kind of in the periphery, in the background, and he never kind of got the look in that he should have got. For me, out of those three, Paul Scholes as a footballer was the best out of all three.
As a footballer, I'd agree. And I think the hard thing as well, it was like they were always trying, like so many England managers persisted and tried to get the Lampard and Gerrard combination to work, and it never worked. What it should have been was, okay, we're going to pick one Gerrard, and we're going to put him with Scholes, and we're going to, consistently.
I've listened to a few podcasts of players, and to get the same question, fuck, England's had one of the best young generations of players coming through over the years. Why did it not work? And they were saying back then, United were with United when they were going for dinners. There was United players with United. Like Gerrard came out and said it. They were all like, it wasn't as if we hated them.
It was like clicky.
It was just clicky. United players sat with United players. The Chelsea was with Chelsea. He said it, and it was just now what Southgate is doing with England now. Everyone seems a young squad. Everyone's getting. That's why he's obviously done well in the World Cup.
So how good Southgate been?
He has been really good for us, obviously. But that's what they were saying over the years. That's what you were missing. You were missing the why not come together. It was so competitive. Gerrard was like, I didn't want to sit with any of them. Like, it's not as if I hated them. I just did not want to be with them. Same with Ferdinand. Ferdinand came out and said we just didn't want to. It was weird. We trained together, and obviously on the pitch we wanted to give our best, but there was no connection outside of that, and that was a big part.
And you could tell on the pitch, because they, like, in all honesty, the England squads, like the 96s were so close, like 2000s, he had such a brilliant squad, probably the best squads out of all the teams there, but it just never kind of clicked. I know with the media pressure there was always that on you, but they were never gelled together as a team the way you should have. You had so many good bloody players, and they just never clicked. And for that reason, as you just said, it's because if players were there and they were looking at each other, going, "Yeah, we're in the same football team.
We're playing you next week."
Yeah, we're not one as a team here, really.
But I think, look at also when you think back to some of those years, like I think early years when I was growing up, England didn't deserve to beat Brazil in them 90s World Cups. Brazil when they had like their
France was there.
The original Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos,
Ronaldinho.
Cafu,
2002,
Like when you think about it, England didn't deserve to beat that team. They won to that level. And then the next era, it was like the Spanish team. You know, and you think about Iniesta, Xavi,
Torres,
like they deserved to win that World Cup as well. Like that was. Yeah, like so England is as much as we had a great team. There's probably never really been an era where you could say that the last World Cup was probably our best. Yeah. Like I always think the cream always rises to the crop, you know, and the best teams probably always won back then. You know, like France had a great team as well. You know, so
another thing that Gerrard said and Lampard said it and Ferdinand. They didn't realise when international was come around, the foreign boys used to be like fucking lovely. The boys used to go to Brazil, Spain, and they'd be like England players would be like, oh, like not as if it was a chore, but they were like we're more interested to play the Premier League. Whereas these boys saw it as a holiday, they're going to meet up with all their mates, and it was a fun thing to do. All their wives would come, and they'd all. That's the difference as well. Like camaraderie when you're playing football. If you don't have that with players, it gets you over the line. It gives you that extra 10% if you want to actually play. That's another thing I reckon.
I suppose there's also maybe an element in there where you
culture,
like you just said, most of say the Brazilian team, most of their players are I can't imagine more than one player plays. I can't imagine a couple of players playing the same team together.
Nah, they're all French,
they're probably
Italian.
In all sorts of countries all over the world. So when they do get together, they're keen to integrate with each other, and there's probably not going to be little groups like there is in England, you know, because X amount of players play for Man U, X amount of players play for Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever it is. Whereas over there, and them, you're right, they probably relish the opportunity to come together to bond as a group, maybe. You know, so.
Okay, so right midfield, I went for Ronaldo. I just think he was, that last season before he left, he was just unbelievable, unplayable. Even though I'm like you boys, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but you can't doubt his work rate, his talent. And out on the right side, I was thinking about Beckham, but I just think Ronaldo was just a better player, he was just different gravy back then, and he was for me the best right midfielder to ever play. And then up top I went for Shearer and Henry. Just you can't not have those two players in your team.
So we've all agreed Shearer and Henry.
Yeah.
Did Aguero come into your mind?
Yeah, look, I mean, when we were talking before, and I was thinking like he's a great player. He scores so many goals, but I don't think in 20 years' time when we're just say in a bloody pub and we're talking about back in the day football, I don't think he's going to even come into the conversation. You'll always talk about Shearer. You'll always talk about Henry. You know, I don't think you'll ever really talk about Aguero. I think he's part of a team that is just full of money, and he's playing with such a good team. These lads, Shearer played in a team that, he carried those lads for years. Henry, just as Mully said, he changed the game in England when he came. He kind of opened the door for all those foreign players to come in and express themselves. He was just different gravy. Whereas Aguero, he's a great goal scorer, but legacy-wise, I don't think he'd be in a conversation in 20 years' time when it comes to talking about these teams.
All right, well, so that's all of our 11s, so let's go now.
Manager.
Oh, manager. It fucking kills me to say it, but
you have to say Ferguson.
There's no one else.
Who else would you?
You could stay Mourinho for...
Kevin Keegan.
Kevin who?
Kevin Keegan.
When you look at where he took United from to where they were...
I know. Yeah.
There's no one... There's no one even... That's the thing. There's no one even close.
Just don't make
Klopp is there now. Klopp is there.
Just don't make me say it, but... I'm happy for you to have that one, but okay.
So we'll go. You want Schmeichel in goal?
I think Schmeichel in goal. Yeah.
Schmeichel in goal. Are we gonna go 4-4-2? You two are old school.
Go 4-4-2. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna go Ashley Cole.
Left back. Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah.
Centre backs. Terry. No, you both didn't have Terry, didn't you?
I had Terry.
He had Terry.
Oh, yeah, Terry. So 2-3-1.
You two both had Terry and Ferdinand.
Did you have Ferdinand as well?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Rio.
Right, well, there you go. So Terry Ferdinand in the middle.
Right back.
Who did you have?
Evra.
Evra.
And who did you have?
Neville. And who would you have?
I had three at the back. I had Company, Neville and Everett.
I'm happy as long as it's not Neville.
We'll give it to Everett then.
Evra's he's a great. What you kind of go Neville.
Neville, but fuck, he was.
He was
But
what?
I hate Everett as well.
I hate both of them, but I think. Oh jeez, I don't know. Let's see what Bootstrap thinks.
Billy, you the last decisive. Everett. Everett.
All right, done,
Right,
Everett.
Everett it is. So we have Schmeichel, Everett right back, Terry Ferdinand, Ashley Cole.
Yep.
Midfield flat four on the right, Ronaldo.
Yep.
Middle.
Well, we both said Scholes. He has to be in
All
there.
right, Scholes is
And
there.
we both said Keane.
Oh fuck. Oh well, I guess he's got to be in there. Right?
All right, so Keane it is. On the left, you said Giggs, you said...
Ginola.
And I said... I had Ronaldo on my left. Cutting in.
Couldn't
Cutting in on his right leg.
I couldn't put Jared on the left.
I tell you who I almost had in there.
David Silva?
No, Gareth Bale.
That's what I said. I said him earlier. I said Gareth Bale as well was there from what, because how good his last season was and what he went on to.
If he comes back the two, he might be in there in a few years' time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right, so left mid, you've
who-
Ginola, but he's definitely not making mine. And you have Giggs,
Giggs.
and he's definitely not making mine.
Well, it's not yours though, is it? Who
No, but
who
I'm
do
saying,
you
like,
have?
that's what I
He
mean.
has Ronaldo, so he
I had
has no
Ronaldo.
say.
See what Bootstrap, who he have in his?
Gerard Lampard.
On the left.
This is fucking, this is not bad.
If I was going to put a player across, it'd be Ronaldo on the left,
And then who on the right?
and then either Gerrard or Ben.
Who do you have on the right then?
I had Gerard on the right. I had Lampard, Keane in the middle.
Who do you have on the right?
Ronaldo. And you have Ronaldo as well.
On the right,
So right,
yeah.
Ronaldo's definitely on the right.
Yeah.
We definitely have Keane in the middle. We definitely have Scones in the middle. So it's between Lampard and Gerrard.
Why don't we just put Peter Beardsley on the left?
No, Peter Beardsley can't make my full 11. It's between Gerrard and Lampard.
Gerrard.
We put Jared in.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Gerrard, right. Gerrard, and up top, we have Shearer on, right?
Yeah.
They're the only two
I'll
players that
agree.
we've all had.
Yep.
All right, so there we go. Billy, you do a little thing, get a little photo up. That's their team.
I'm still not happy about that left hand side, but who else?
Giggs. We've Giggs, who's the most that should be there, but for me, he just didn't do it, and I just don't want him there. He's not making me He's not making me Premier League 11.
Wait, let me just see what comes up if I've just put in.
So you have Gareth Bale. You have
So you can have right-footed players left, but if
Yeah.
you're looking for a left-footed winger,
So here, we'll mention a few players that are like in the mix.
Yeah.
You have David Silva.
Oh, whoa. So I've got some. I've managed to find it.
Best left footers of all time.
The best left footers of all time.
Right, if you can
And
pick
this
a better
was-
left footer than Gerrard,
Well, this was like a vote.
better not be Newcastle of all time.
No.
Lauren Robert.
So the winner of the vote was obviously Ryan Giggs. No surprises there.
I don't understand why he's not there. Why is he not?
But
just put in?
but the next one down, great shout, Robert Perez.
Yeah.
He was a good left winger.
Yeah.
he was good.
He was there or thereabouts in my team.
With him and like Overmars together, they were a great little partnership with Vieira in the middle there.
Phil
But
Van Wiltord, remember him? He was a little. He
But-
picked up with a couple of goals.
but third, guess who was third?
Bale.
David Ginola. Get that into you. Also in there was Eden Hazard, who was
Hazard, yeah.
and then Harry Kewell. Left. Mark Overmars, he was in there, good shout. I don't know. I think we just got to keep it as it is, I guess.
Like just here, different seasons you can pick players. Like Michael Owen on his day.
Nah. Don't even mention
Michael
that
Owen
name.
coming through at Liverpool.
get
Don't
on his
even
day.
don't even mention that
He's
name
the
in my
only
presence.
player
Don't
to win
even.
the Ballon d'Or.
I don't care.
Like that alone,
He's a
gives him a mention.
He's a mercenary.
Yeah,
and
he is.
He's a
He is,
He's a
but
rat.
On his day,
He's a
he
rat,
was-
and I don't even want to mention it in this podcast.
Well, on his day, he was up there. Who else do you have?
On his day, bollocks.
Actually, right, I'll go through.
You go through positions like you had Czech and we talked Czech
So,
and Schmeichel.
You have Czech and Schmeichel. Who else is Van der Sar?
Van der Sar.
United signed him for 2 million,
Yeah.
and he had 4 great seasons with them. He was class. Who else? David James is up there. I know he wasn't that best, but
He
he's the
was,
second of all time clean sheets. So he done the job.
But he just
See,
he's,
like,
he's another mercenary that went to every fucking club.
See,
did.
I just like, and there's a few there second grade. Like, look, people. Some people would say David Seaman as well.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
he was. I was never really. I think that we've mentioned the two.
Shay Given was
like-
a great keeper.
Shea Griffin was great.
Like
Keeper.
when you think of keepers of all time, I don't think there's anyone even close to Schmeichel and Cech.
Yeah, Cech,
Like I
no.
don't even think even close. Not even.
Defenders, Vincent Company definitely be
Yeah.
up there as
Yap Stam. Here's a
fucking Vidic.
listen to this. Here's a mad little stat for you. Right, Yap Stam played 70 games for Man United. Many times did he lose?
11.
5.
Oh.
So you know what I mean? Like when you
Tell you what it is though. He's just said Vidic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Vidic.
He was a player.
Yeah.
He was a player. wasn't
Steve Bruce, he was like he's up
he?
there.
He's before my time.
Steve Bruce, Gary Palace there, yeah.
Like I
Good
know they're not Premier
combination.
League, but they came into it like they were still.
Yeah, and then moving into the midfield, like Paul Gascoigne. If you speak to most people around that time, they will all
I
say
think the problem was that he left Spurs, then went to Italy, and then came back, and he
he went to Lazio. Then
Lazio, yeah.
Yeah.
He came back, and
But when he was at
Everton.
the Rangers.
when he burst,
the Rangers, sorry, then came down to.
I remember watching videos when he was at Newcastle in the early days there, and like the stuff he was another one who, like Thierry Henry, like Cristiano Ronaldo, he
brought the
made
game to a different level.
He made the game become better. You know, he brought the game to another level. You know,
Like when you think of as well, like the players that missed it, like Robbie Fowler is the third top goal scorer in the Premier League.
He's probably one of the best finishers.
Like it's
Not the best player, but one of the best finishers.
Yeah.
But you
the
think of
Premier League's
players
ever
that
seen.
I was going through, going fuck man, like Drogba on his
Yeah.
day was
Yeah.
like
Quality.
You have
Nicholas Anelka,
Anelka.
a great player.
Like
Yeah.
done it with Arsenal, done it with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like he's goals
even
galore.
done it at Bolton.
That's what I mean.
You know,
JJ Kocha.
JJ Kocha, he was a good player.
He was whopper baller.
You have
He was-
Zola, Drago Zola,
Yeah,
Zola,
Bergkamp.
yeah.
Bergkamp didn't even get a sniff in any of hers, and some people
Bergkamp was he was a player.
magician. Like
Bergkamp, wasn't
he changed as well. There's so many players that you can think of that changed the style of play. Like who else do you have? Like McManaman, Steve McManaman, man. People
Yeah.
forget when he went to Madrid, he was one of their best
Yeah.
players.
He was good.
Yeah,
We were just very lucky to grow up in the era that we were.
Yeah.
I know. I think
We
we
had-
grew up in the
no,
best era of
yeah,
football.
100%.
As you said, the
There's
likes
none
of fights between Keane and Vieira.
Yeah, the
and
passion, the fucking
Tell you
aggression.
another player who I loved as well. Like, will go like it was probably one of my favorite. Probably my second favorite player of all time was Gary Speed.
Yeah.
and I
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul. And he like another probably similar to Keane. Like not necessarily the greatest technical player in the world, but worked hard.
Yeah.
Did all the dirty work. Allowed other players to play football and inspired everybody around him. You know, as well as the fans. So he's another one
like
there.
another player that could have got a sniff, like Suarez, man. When Suarez came to Liverpool, his
Yeah.
record and what he went on to
Yeah,
do.
Suarez is good. Like for some reason, I sort of I put Suarez and Aguero in the same sort of same boat because they are both fantastic players. Both with like, I mean, what was he banging in per season when he came?
He won his. I think he got 33 in his fourth
Yeah,
year.
and what does Aguero get on an average? Yeah.
Average at least
20,
25.
yeah.
at
Yeah,
minimum.
so like
Well, put it this way, Aguero has more goals than Henry.
yeah, right, okay.
So
yeah,
you know what I mean?
but Henry was.
Oh,
he
Henry
was
for me,
magic.
just growing
Oh.
up changed everything.
I think we have this perception with those kind of players like Suarez and Aguero. Like, you look at Henry and he still loves Arsenal and he still talks about Arsenal. The likes of Suarez
Yeah.
and fucking Aguero, in 10 years' time, they won't give a bollocks about Man City or Liverpool. They don't care.
the loyalty's
They're
gone
just
this
money.
days.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like, they'll go to whoever pays them the most money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they'll just, whatever. They're great at what they do. But when it comes to it, I think we're all loyal and passionate lads that love watching blokes that want to play for a club and
Yeah.
give everything for that club.
Yep.
And that's where those players fall short, where they don't give you that. they don't come across as like they don't really give a fuck about the club.
Like Cantona, a few people I was talking to say Cantona.
I always thought he was overrated.
I
to
always
me.
thought he was overrated.
Good player, but he was
brilliant
never,
player.
Yeah.
Would you rate Cantona as up? I would like. This is. I'm probably going to get some stick over this. I wouldn't even rate Cantona in the top 10 strikers in the Premier League history.
Yeah.
For me, like yeah, he was unbelievable. But I just think
I can't stand him. So
players
it's
went like he's a great player, but I just think there's other players that proved better than him.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll get some stick for what I'm about to say as well. Speaking of overrated players, for me, the most overrated player of all time is David Beckham.
Yeah.
The most overrated.
He had a great right foot, and that was
it. And he had a good work rate.
Yeah.
He had a good right foot and a good work rate. But I honestly thought he was the most overrated. I thought he was very fortunate to play on on the right wing at a time when we had really very little else to challenge him.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, set pieces, he was a genius, obviously. And that's how
he's probably, would you say, the best free kick taker of all time? Or
yeah, I would. Yeah.
Especially under pressure, just when you need to step up.
That goal for England against Greece, where like you had to score. 93rd minute, you had to score.
Stuff like that just separates you. I think the little things just separate you.
I think the greatest set piece taker of all time. And look, the reality is, like if you've got someone like that on your team who's that deadly at set pieces, they're worth 10 goals a season sometimes, you know. Or if they don't score them 10 goals themselves, they'll get them from corners and deliveries and all sorts. So, you know, he's probably worth putting in a team, but he's not, for me, he's nowhere near the greatest right winger of...
Well, like, we're going to get a few people watching this going, oh, maybe, I don't know. Oh, this, look at the stats in this. He was terrible at this. That's just in our opinion, this has been. It's not as if we've all Googled. This is just in our own opinion, our own...
Yeah, because everybody knows David Ginola would be in there every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
for his hair alone.
Do
you remember the ads he did?
So I wrote down a couple of little, just a little facts, just some little random facts.
A couple? You filled a full A4 bit of paper. You got 2 pages.
Of 3. Right. So
gonna be all day.
Right, the Premier League started in '92, right? So, most goals we've Alan Shearer 260. Right, you already know this. I think I told you as well. Most assists. Who do you think?
Do you say Ryan Giggs?
Yeah. How many do you reckon? We've played 600 plus games. How many do you reckon he has?
300.
Do you know the answer?
Nah, no idea.
What do you thought? So he's played 600 plus games. Any thought in your head?
250.
Right, he only had 162, right. Henry has most golden boots, 4. Nobody's won it more than 4 times. Most red cards in the league. Who do you reckon?
Keane?
You say Keane? Who do you say? Joey Barron isn't one of them.
Joey Barron.
Yeah, I was thinking, he entered me, but I thought no.
It's 8 red cards.
Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, there's 3 people. Richard Dunn.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He loves the red card.
Patrick Vieira and Duncan Ferguson.
Drunken Duncan.
Have you ever heard the podcast with Kieran Dyer about Duncan Ferguson?
Was he on True Geordie?
Yeah, True Geordie. It's if you get a chance to go and listen to that,
it's a pretty good one.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Who was the first keeper to score in the Premier League?
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, he scored, and it wasn't for United. It's for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
They lost in a defeat to Everton. The first player to win back-to-back Premier League titles with 2 different teams.
Oh.
It's only one player.
With 2 different teams?
2 different teams. The only player to win back-to-back with 2 different teams.
Back-to-back?
Carlos Tevez.
Nope.
Nah. With 2 different teams. So he's obviously played for Man U.
Nope.
Nah.
No. Yep, N'Golo Kante. Leicester and Chelsea.
Oh shit! Yeah.
First player to win it. And then I just have Tony Adams became the captain at 21. Like Yapstam played. He only lost 5 times in 79 games for United. Sorry, actually earlier on I said Dennis Irwin won 8. He only won 7 titles, not 8. But so there are a couple of little. Actually, most assists, most red cards. Sure. Oh, here we go. Most appearances.
Gary Speed. Oh, he was up until a certain point, and then probably winning gigs, was it?
Gary, who do you say?
Ryan Giggs.
653 shared. Gareth Barry and Ryan Giggs.
Gareth Barry, yeah.
Yep. Assists is Ryan Giggs with 162. Fabregas is behind them with 111.
Yeah, I knew that.
And so that's a couple of little facts for all the.
Yeah.
Fabregas, he was a good player.
He's brilliant.
As a centre forward, you'd love to play with someone like him,
Yeah.
you know. All right, I reckon that's it, is it?
That's it. So
We'll put that up.
we'll fill out, get that
team.
up. We're not sure who we're going to have on next. We're still scouting out. So anyone wants to come on or any tips, people, let us know. Hopefully, is comment below. Everybody comment below their 11. And if you have any problems, just message us.
That was their 11, not
their 11. And so it was a bit of crack.
Yeah.
And see you soon. Take it
Thanks.
easy, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers.